Hello, everyone. This is James Ellsmore from Solar Head of State. We are an NGO based in the United States working worldwide to promote renewable energy. And this webinar will be talking about the Guyana Solar Challenge. This is the second in our Caribbean Solar Challenges series. And the idea behind this competition is to inspire young people in Guyana to embrace renewable energy and the positive impact that that can have on Guyanese society. We have several different speakers from our partner organizations and sponsors that have helped us bring this together, and we're very thankful for their involvement. So they'll be speaking one by one. To give you a little bit of information about the Solar Challenge, this competition is a fairly open competition where we're asking for young people to be somewhat creative in their approach. You can find out more information on solarheadoffstate.org/Guyana Solar Challenge. That's quite a mouthful, so we'll make sure it's in the notes for this video as well. On that website, you can find out some more information about the challenge, about the rules, and confirmation of the deadline, etc. The challenge is to design a project to inspire your home community and communicate the benefits of solar energy. So that could be a song, that could be a video, that could be any number of things that really suit your, that you think you can express the benefits of renewable energy. So we'll be giving you some examples of the types of entries that you can take part in and some of the content that you can include. And we really want to encourage you to be creative. The entries will be judged on their ability to educate your peers on the benefits. So how well the message comes across. As I said before, this is the second in our series. So our first one in Jamaica last year, we had a large number of entries with people with essays, videos, all different types of entrants. So now we're going to go through our list of speakers. Each will give you a bit of information about their organization, why they're involved, and why you should be involved in the challenge. Hopefully there'll be some good content there for you. So now I'm going to pass over to Nadia Mohammed from CARICOM, who will tell us a bit more.
Thank you, James. On behalf of the CARICOM Secretariat, I'd first like to thank the Solar Head of State team and the Caribbean Youth Environment Network for approaching us to partner on this initiative. Increasing awareness on sustainable energy issues has been a mandate of the CARICOM Energy Program since 2011, and the Guyana Solar Challenge is a great precursor to our main annual event, which is called CARICOM Energy Month. And we aim to increase public awareness of sustainable energy and development issues, as well as to encourage behavioral change in our member states. So when we think about advocates like Greta Thunberg, we can see the influence and the impact that young people can have on their societies. So I hope that this competition inspires and provides support to young people to be leaders of social change in their communities and across Guyana. We know that the energy sector in Guyana is about to undergo significant transformation within the next few years. So I think it is really important for the society to have a better understanding of the realities that will face them in this changing landscape, as well as to really become more aware of the sustainable options that are available to them, especially in the hinterland communities. So we definitely would like to see wide participation from all the regions to get a good representation of persons' views on solar energy, renewable energy across Guyana, not just in towns, but also the island communities and the hinterland regions. At the CARICOM Secretariat, we also recognize that leadership is also required to drive change. So we will be commencing a project with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, known as JICA, for the installation of a 360 kilowatt PV system for the CARICOM Secretariat headquarters building. And that will be launched at the end of the year, coinciding with the prize given for the Guyana Solar Challenge. So we are really looking forward to that. And with those few words, I say thank you to James and his team for their efforts. And we look forward to the submissions and hope that this initiative can be replicated throughout the wider Caribbean. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Nadia, for that introduction. And I just realized that in my own introduction, I forgot to mention one very important thing, which is prize money. So thanks very much to the sponsors that you'll hear from in this call. We've been able to offer fairly generous prizes, and the first prize will be 100,000 Guyanese dollars. Second prize will be 60,000 Guyanese dollars. Third prize, 40,000, and the fourth prize will be a voucher for 15,000. So we have some quite generous prizes available, and all of our finalists will be invited to a prize giving ceremony, which we'll host later this year in collaboration with CARICOM. So just wanted to add that. I'm now going to go over to Salika Zaman from the Guyana Department of the Environment.
For the opportunity for joining this webinar. I am currently at the Department of Environment. My responsibility here is to engage the public and to mainstream the Green State Development Strategy, Vision 2040. This is Guyana's 20-year plan, or a roadmap to guide Guyana towards transitioning into a green economy. And of course, a part of that, a significant part of that strategy is transitioning to near 100% renewable energy. That is actually an objective of the strategy. One of the priorities is to build local awareness. So I believe that this project will help do so. This project is in line with implementation of the Green State Development Strategy, and implementation is to begin next year, 2020. So to get young people involved at this stage is crucial, and I 100% support this initiative. Of course, the DOE will support it technically, whether it be to help to help raise awareness about this project and so on. So yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Salika. We'll now go over to Siobhan Wood from the Guyana Energy Agency, who has got a presentation.
Thank you, James. Just want to see if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit about the Guyana Energy Agency. We are a government agency under the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. And importantly, our vision is to ensure that there's reliable energy within the tenets of the Sustainable Development Agenda for every citizen in Guyana. And as part of that vision, there's a key function that GEA plays that relates to information dissemination and public awareness. And we believe that the Solar Challenge is certainly aligned with the objectives of the Guyana Energy Agency, and we 100% support the initiative. As part of our daily work, we encourage persons to become energy champions and to learn more about opportunities for solar energy development. And we believe that the Solar Challenge is a good way to encourage that. Nadia also mentioned the Energy Month activities that CARICOM has planned, which also coincides with what the national focal points, which would be GEA, is also planning. So I think that this challenge fits perfectly with the activities that we plan throughout the year, and particularly for Energy Month. In terms of the impact solar has, Guyana does have several favorable locations, and currently our capacity is in excess of 6 megawatts of solar PV installed, and this encompasses a wide range of use, so that it's not limited alone to just electricity generation, but it's linked to agriculture production, irrigation, ICT, and of course the hinterland electrification program. And a significant program that was implemented was the installation of 19,000 solar home systems in those remote areas that don't have access to the electric grid. GA is also the implementing agency for the Green Public Sector Program. And what that involves is installing these solar PV systems in public buildings, which include schools, hospitals, and government organizations. And this is one of our flagship projects that promotes the awareness of solar PV for those users in those public buildings and the public at large that visit those organizations. Solar is not just limited to solar PV, but there's also solar thermal, and we would have supported the installation of solar cookers in remote hinterland area in Region 9 that used it as part of their business development. So in the image, they're actually using the dryers to dry fruits for agricultural processing. There's also solar powered street lights, and so we're hoping that our public spaces can also be green in accordance with the ideas or the initiatives of the Green State Development Strategy. And so installing solar powered street lights in public areas as a means of greening those public spaces are also important things. The presentation is brief, but I do want to mention that it's important that persons know that solar energy is one of the key sources that the country wants to initiate in order to get to that 100% renewable energy for power generation target. And our energy policy, again, supports that direction in terms of solar PV development. And I also do want to encourage all those who are listening to adequately participate. I've put our website up there for those who want any additional information or additional resources that they may find useful on solar PV and any other energy source for future information. I want to thank the Solar Head of State and the head and the team for deciding to have this competition in Guyana, and we hope in the long term that we can use or at least gain inspiration from some of the pieces here, that we can possibly incorporate it in some of our awareness activities as well, because we see this important nexus to be able to provide information in a easy to understand and tangible way to the general public. And I'm so happy to know that the age group for the target looks at youth and their involvement, because that is a critical component for sustainable energy development. And I, again, encourage all those to participate. Thank you.
Siobhan, thank you so much for that presentation. That was really helpful. And if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a quick question. It's maybe a bit of a devil's advocate question, but some people might be wondering, well, Guyana's now got all this oil, so why does it need 100%? Why does it need renewables? So maybe you could very briefly just touch upon that question.
Yeah, so even though we do have significant oil and gas resources, we of course want to follow the tenets of sustainable development, and a key component of that is environmental integrity. And so we believe that a combination of gas and renewable energy is the best solution in the long run for the development of Guyana. We know that oil and gas, as significant as it is still a finite resource, and we need to ensure for the sake of longevity that we are able to use our indigenous resources within the energy policy and the Green State Development Strategy, that it emphasizes the use of indigenous resources for energy security. So in the context of climate change and also energy security, we believe that it is not one or the other, but we should be able to utilize our indigenous resources, indigenous renewable energy resources, as well as our look at opportunities for oil and gas.
That's a great answer. Thank you very much for taking that. So our next, unfortunately, I'd like to thank Guyana Power and Light, who are one of our sponsors, obviously the national utility of Guyana. Unfortunately, they're not able to join us right now, but they may send some follow-up information, and there'll be more information from them on our website. So thank you again to Guyana Power and Light, which means I'll go over to our next sponsor, MPC Capital. And we have Fernando Zuniga from MPC Capital to give us some more information from his side.
Hi, James. I don't know if you are able to see me now.
We're not able to see you, but don't worry. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to put the camera on it. So first of all, James, thank you very much on behalf of MPC for the invitation, and congratulations also for this initiative, which we like very much and very keen to support. I will just introduce very briefly who's MPC Capital. We're an investment and asset manager based in Germany. Within our different units of investments or strategies of investment, we have the infrastructure strategy, which we have decided to focus since 2 years ago in the Caribbean and Central America, specifically on renewable energy projects in the islands in the Caribbean, CARICOM countries, and Central America. We launched 2 years ago the MPC Clean Caribbean Energy Fund, which aims to identify investment opportunities in the Caribbean in solar, wind, energy efficiency, energy storage, both in the utility scale sector and also in the distributed energy generation sector. As of today, we've been able to identify 2 opportunities in investment. The first one in Jamaica with the Paradise Park solar renewable energy project, and most recently a wind farm in Costa Rica. However, our team, which is currently based within Germany, Panama, and Colombia and Jamaica, are actively looking for this type of investments, as MPC believes there's a big potential and still lack of sufficient private capital in the region. MPC is willing to take these first steps in this sector, region, geographic region, and that's why we've been actively in the last 2 years in the Caribbean. In regards to solar challenge, this is something that we are very keen to support. For us, it's important to always involve not only the local community, but also on the academic sector, because we believe the youth is the next generation and the next sector of people who are going to be taking care of all these assets. So it's very important, since in the young age, that they are involved, understand how this technology works, understand how necessary are these technologies nowadays, and especially in the Caribbean. So that's why we are very keen in supporting the solar challenge and making in this way some awareness about these projects and activities that are taking place right now, not only in Guyana but in the rest of the region. So from the MPC Capital Group, always, and as already said, we are very keen on supporting this type of initiatives. We always there's opportunities within our group for young professionals, interns, to join in our daily activities. So that's why it's also a good door for them to came to know us and always ask for any type of collaborations, which we always open. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Fernando, for that overview, and we really appreciate you supporting the challenge. Next, we have Sandra Messiah from Public Services International. PSI have been a great supporter of our previous project in Jamaica, the Jamaica Solar Challenge, and we're really glad to have their support again for this one.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. As James mentioned, I am with Public Services International. And just to quickly give you an idea of who we are and what we do, PSI is a global trade union federation. We represent those workers who deliver quality public services all throughout the world. We're about just over 20 million members worldwide, and we do have affiliates in the Caribbean, and they would primarily be those unions that represent workers delivering public services. One of the key points that was made earlier in the various presentations related to the work being done by Greta Thunberg, that Swedish teenager who has riveted us by talking about preserving the world. And in fact, that is the rallying cry that we make in joining with our various allies. We in PSI are working not only with our own affiliates, but also with others throughout the other sectors within the trade union movement to bring more visibility and to sound out even louder the issues surrounding climate change. And we're not just talking about creating businesses or investment, we're talking about people's lives. For many years, in terms of disaster preparedness and disaster awareness and looking after people and countries after disasters have hit, we've been focusing on saving people's lives, and that continues to be very important for our various workers in disaster management and disaster risk reduction. But with what is happening to the world now, this overemphasis on using the non-renewable forms of energy really and truly to create more profit, because we're finding that while, yes, people are talking about more money circulating, sadly, it's not really getting to the people who need it most. We believe that we need to also drive home the point that in order to achieve the goals and the commitments made by governments during the negotiations for the Paris Agreement, and also those commitments that will be reviewed next year at the various Conference of the Peoples, we need to emphasize the critical role of public services in this. And that's why we want to be very much involved in the Solar Challenge, because through young people, through the youth, and they're developing the messages for their communities, the real people who are going to be affected by climate change, we believe that we can learn from their own experiences, their own thoughts, and ultimately, we want to be able to influence policies that are going to ultimately be made by governments throughout the world, not only in terms of the Caribbean, but worldwide, in terms of what we do, not only with solar energy, but all the various alternative energies. Our aim as part of the Guyana Solar Challenge, and hopefully when we get involved in the other solar challenges, is to help our young people think through so that they too can become their own Greta Thunbergs throughout the Caribbean. We're extremely pleased to be involved in this project, and we want to be able to contribute more, to open up certain areas of thinking, and to help our young people and ultimately the policymakers of the Caribbean to clearly and seriously think through the implications and achieve the goals that they have set themselves so that we have prosperous, sustainable economies, not only in the Caribbean, but throughout the world. Thank you for agreeing to have us on board, James.
Thank you so much, Sandra. That was a great introduction to the work that you're doing, and I think we all hope that this competition will help us find Guyana's answer to Greta Thunberg as well. So speaking of the young people, obviously, that this competition is aimed at, we now have two speakers from our youth organization partners, both of whom also partnered with their local branches in Jamaica for the Jamaica Solar Challenge. And they've been absolutely vital for the outreach on the ground to schools in Guyana and to get young people involved. So now I'd like to invite Willena Roberts from the Caribbean Youth Environment Network to tell us a bit about their work and some more about the competition.
Hi all, good afternoon. And Deputy Coordinator Caribbean Youth Network here in Ghana. Just on how we become the nation. June 3, Environment Network and head of states launched a partnership to promote education on renewable energy across the Caribbean region. We hope that this solar challenge will be the first in a collection of awareness programs targeted at young citizens. Are you guys still seeing me? No.
Sorry, I turned
Hello?
off. I turned off the video because it was a bit slow, so we couldn't hear you. So, but keep going.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, so basically, this CYN is a nonprofit civil society charitable body that focuses its resources on empowering young people in their communities to develop actions to address socioeconomic and environmental issues. Our programs aim at addressing issues of sustainable development. So far, our organization, through its Guyana chapter, has been facilitating the marketing and promotion of the Guyana Solar Challenge. We've been able to secure some airtime on the television and radio, and we've doubled the promotion of the challenge in our other programs that we're involved in. We've had the good fortune of being assisted by governmental agencies, including the Office of Climate Change, who has graciously allowed us a minute during their climate change awareness sessions conducted in schools across the country to speak on the challenge. So what we've noted from these interactions with schools and the general thought process of Guyanese youth is, in light of the oil boom, there is some disconcert about renewable resources. As such, we are focused on highlighting the need for our vision as young people to be not what oil can do for us, but what we can do with oil. Guyana's oil find should be a means to a more sustainable nation, which should include solar energy as one of our renewable resources. We just like to thank the Solar Head of States for including us as part of the Guyana Solar Challenge. And thank you to all the other organizations who have partnered with us to assist in the execution of this challenge. We encourage everyone who fits the criteria to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. And I know that your outreach on the ground to the different schools has been vital in getting people involved. So last but not least, I'm going to invite Franz George from the Commonwealth Youth Council to talk some more about the work of that organization.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm just happy to be a part of this project and to have the opportunity to present to you all. So as James would have mentioned before, the CYC has worked on this project before when it was done in Jamaica, and we're so happy and glad to be a part of it again. For those of you who may not know, the Commonwealth Youth Council is a union of national youth councils and youth representative organizations. And our mandate really is to be the voice of young people and to advocate on their behalf to the heads of governments. So essentially, we work with governments to say, hey, this is what your young people want, and this is what we think you should do, but this is also the part that we think that we could play in developing our countries. However, one of our key responsibilities is to engage young people on the ground, to know exactly what they want, because that's the only way we could represent them, but to also empower them so they too could speak up. And this is where such a competition comes in, because we see this as a great opportunity to engage young people on the ground, to hear what they think through their submissions in the program, as well as to also educate them on some of these issues, what's happening on the world scale and how it affects them at the national context, so that they could now process that and provide feedback, not just to us, but also to their governments. It's really about just trying to amplify that voice of young people and helping them to express themselves through different forms. So, we're encouraging everyone to participate, and, I cannot stress the importance of just being creative. Let your creative juices flow. I mean, what's important is that you're able to get the message across. Of course, I mean, it's important to think about your audience. You're going to communicate to your peers. You're going to communicate to influencers and persons who work in different development agencies. So if you could really get your message across as a Guyanese young person, to let them know how you feel about climate change and renewable energy and the environment, especially in the context of Guyana having discovered the resources that they have, the oil resources. I mean, get that message across. We want to hear from you. And of course, we also look forward to working through our partner on the ground. That is the Guyana National Youth Council, to create more awareness on the ground. And of course, we look forward to working with whomever else is working on the ground. The real aim is just to get young people to know what's happening, what they could do, and how they could speak up. And we think that when that is done, that's when change happens, because it's our strong opinion that real change happens when young people are involved. So give it a shot, do your best, whether it is an essay, a song, a poem, whatever form you want to choose, just let your voice be heard.
Thanks, friends, for those some extra inspiring words for all of the participants. And we really appreciate everyone for joining and giving this information. So finally, just to wrap up the conversation, I'm going to hand over to Dagmara Avanindra, who is one of our board members who has really organized this webinar today, to say final words. Thanks, Dagmara.
Thank you so much, James. I would like to say a few words first and foremost on behalf of Guyana Power and Light. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties and IT restrictions, Ms. Chevy and Sears Murray wasn't able to join. However, GPL fully supports and is honored to support this challenge as well, just like our other fantastic partners and sponsors. They are looking forward to see what kind of creative ideas will come out of this competition, so that possibly these can be ideas that will take Guyana Renewables to the whole next level. So that's all I'm going to say on their behalf. We're going to try to figure out how we can maybe append the video from them later. But I also really want to take this time to each and every sponsor, to thank each and every sponsor and partner for your participation, for your commitment, and for your support of young entrepreneurs in this pursuit of renewables. So many thanks again to CARICOM for your strategic partnership. Thank you so much to the Guyana Department of Environment, Guyana Energy Agency, of course, Guyana Power and Light, MPC Capital, Public Services International, and of course, our dedicated partners, Caribbean Youth Environment Network and Commonwealth Youth Council. Thank you so very much. We are really looking forward to the entries for this competition. The deadline to submit is September 30th. If you want to participate and not sure, please reach out with questions. We are here to help, and our partners, Caribbean Youth Environment Network and Commonwealth Youth Council, are here to answer your questions as well. We are really looking forward to the entries and what it may lead for Guyana going forward. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. That's